Hello, my name is Don Kraus. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition. We're entering into the holiday giving season. So today I'd like to talk to you about our fundraising campaign for the 2018 holidays, Holiday Hope for MSA, why and how to raise money for the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition. So thank you very much for joining today and for taking some time to watch this video. This is going to be an overview of what the MSA Coalition is, hopefully pretty brief, and then discussing our two key fundraising campaigns, and then lastly focusing on some best practices for both of those campaigns. I will also be creating two short videos on how to actually set up our fundraising campaigns for yourself. So with that, I'd like to just quickly go over the mission statement and history of the MSA Coalition. So the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition is a 501c3 organization. We were founded 30 years ago in 1989, so almost 30 years ago, as the Shy-Drager Syndrome MSA Support Group. And we stayed as the support group until 2012 when we changed our name and became the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition. At that point, we changed our mission from being just a support group to having a 4-pillar mission. And just a few months ago, we revised our mission statement, and it now begins with improving the quality of life and building hope for people affected by multiple system atrophy. And the 4 pillars that we are focused on are providing patient and care partners with trusted and compassionate emotional support, educating patients, care partners, and healthcare providers with credible, critically important, and relevant information, funding patient-centric collaborative research aimed at alleviating symptoms, slowing the disease progression, and discovering a cure, which of course we would all like to see. And then lastly, building a sense of community by connecting and unifying people affected by MSA. And we're not just talking about MSA patients and their families here. We're actually including researchers, healthcare providers, and even other multiple system atrophy charities. This past year, we actually hosted the first ever global MSA advocacy meeting in New York City as an example of that. Some of our key accomplishments in recent years include the funding of 36 research grants. This has been done over the past 5 years, and we're already starting to see some really great results from these. Some of the results are very promising. They've been published in clinical journals, and now they're being cited at conferences, and we're receiving thanks and acknowledgments at those conferences for the support that the MSA Coalition has provided for research. One of the hidden benefits of our research grant program is that it's encouraged young investigators and researchers to join the fight against MSA. By receiving our research grants, it gave them the ability to focus in on MSA rather than potentially taking a different career path. And that's been incredibly important to refueling the researcher pipeline with young talent. We've really worked on developing a collaborative international cooperation. We do things like being the primary sponsor of the international MSA congresses, which we've done for the last 2, the last one being in New York City and was the 6th International Conference. We've also been holding annual patient and family conferences for years. It was really the mainstay of the SDS MSA support group in the early years, but recently we've expanded it. We've had over 150 in-person attendees the last couple of years, and we've also begun live streaming it, and over 3,000 people watch it live or watch the videos of it shortly thereafter. And all of those videos from past conferences are available on our new website, which I will actually take you to the homepage in a couple of minutes. So another key area is that we lead awareness initiatives. As an example of that, when we were in New York City for the 6th International MSA Congress, the MSA Coalition, with some other charities, led the ringing of the New York Stock Exchange closing bell on March 5th. And it was a great awareness opportunity. More than 1 million people around the world watched it live on various financial networks. As you can see, we've had strong financial growth since 2012. 2012, as I said, was when we changed over to the MSA coalition and expanded our mission from being just more than a support group. If you look back at our 30-year history prior to that, as a support group, we were raising 10,000, 15,000, maybe in a good year, 20,000 in a year. And then in 2012, we raised 50,000, and by 2015, we raised over $1 million. We've plateaued since then, but we are on pace for our best year ever. But it's going to take a big push during the holiday seasons, and we're going to need lots of volunteers like you to help us with fundraising so that we can have our biggest year ever. And there's going to be some incredible opportunities for matching and to put money into the MSA Research Fund, which I know is an important topic for everybody. So revenue growth is a must in order for us to continue with accomplishing our mission. There are two expensive initiatives that are really imperatives for us. The research programs, which we've talked about, well, we need to fund those at greater levels. Nurturing promising research takes a lot of money. And then also, we're working on new research initiatives, and we'll be announcing those probably early in 2019. But to give you a hint, we're developing and funding more comprehensive collaborative projects aimed at accelerating discovery of new treatments. And that's going to be the focus of how we spend our research money moving forward. Also, educating more healthcare professionals is going to become extremely important. Some of the research that we funded in the past has now led to the discovery of new biomarkers. And as those get validated, if they become a trusted way to make an early diagnosis of MSA, money is going to be needed to educate physicians on the front lines about these biomarkers so that they can identify MSA patients earlier, which will allow for better care and also for the opportunity for these patients to get into clinical studies at an earlier stage, which in theory would lead to the potential of the treatments being more effective. So why we need you? Well, MSA is a rare disease, and unfortunately, people that haven't heard of diseases, they're just not going to be fundraisers for those diseases. There's a 0% chance of that happening. There are about 13,000 Americans in the United States who, approximately have multiple system atrophy, and many of those probably aren't even officially diagnosed with it yet. They maybe have a Parkinson's diagnosis or some other diagnosis. So there's a small pool of people. But it's people affected by MSA that are our best and most likely fundraisers. You have a couple of things going for you. One, your story is extremely powerful. If you tell your MSA story and how it's impacting you and your family and your life, it's powerful, and it will move your network to want to help you. So it's critical that you and that everybody in the MSA community who knows they're in the MSA community band together and help us accomplish our mission of enhancing quality of life and building hope for a cure. This is a quote that I was given a couple of years ago by a person that was initially a bit reluctant to fundraise. I was talking to them on the phone, and they were telling me that their network wouldn't want to help. But they wanted to give it a try, and so they did. We coached them along, and they got their fundraiser set up. And a couple days later, they emailed me this quote from somebody in their network, and they said that they've received a lot of feedback like that, and other people have told us this as well. The reality is that people in your network are looking for ways to help you, and if you tell them your story and give them an outlet like a fundraiser to do so, they're going to want to help. So last year, we had a very successful year in our fundraising. We focused primarily on ProudRise, which many of you may have heard of. We use it all year round, but ProudRise has a holiday challenge each year. Last year, we raised $264,000. We had fewer than 100 fundraisers, but the average fundraiser was about $2,383. And we had maybe 10 or 15 fundraisers that raised significant amounts each. So in reality, the other fundraisers were probably raising $1,000 or $500. So I don't want this number to scare you. In fact, if you can raise $250 or $500 or whatever amount it is that you raise, it's going to be extremely appreciated by us, the MSA coalition, and by your community members. We have a couple really good opportunities this year. Last year, we earned $150,000 in matching gifts. We're still out there asking people to become matching pledge donors for us. So we're hoping to get a number certainly north of 100,000 for this year. And last year we won $25,000 in prize money in ProudRise, beating out over 1,000 other charities for that money. And we do specials on Giving Tuesday as well, which I'll get into. So that was last year on ProudRise. So where and when to help this year with fundraising? This year, instead of putting all of our eggs in the ProudRise basket, especially on Giving Tuesday, we're going to focus on Facebook. The reason being is that on Giving Tuesday, which is November 27th, 2018, Facebook and PayPal, one of their partners, have pledged to match $7 million, first come, first serve, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Giving Tuesday. No charity can receive more than $250,000, which is actually a great thing for us because there's some monster charities like the American Cancer Society and such raising money on Facebook. And if there wasn't a cap, those big charities would have a shot at taking a much bigger chunk of the pie. So we have a shot at this pie. If we're well organized, we'd like to try and get that $250,000 for the MSA coalition. Individual donors, if you have the potential to be a larger donor, can have up to $20,000 matched on Giving Tuesday by Facebook. Right now, as a side note, the limit per donation seems to be set at $2,500. It's unclear. We've asked but haven't heard yet whether Facebook is going to increase that limit to $20,000 on Giving Tuesday. If they don't, we're assuming that you'll be able to go in if you want to donate more than $2,500 and make multiple donations. The key, though, is 8 a.m. Eastern Time. This money is most likely going to go very fast. I would not be surprised if by 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock at the latest, the $7 million is gone. Last year, they matched $2 million, and for the day, they raised $46 million. So that would tell you that a big chunk of money was raised early and quickly. So we need to get organized and raise money at 8 a.m. What I'm suggesting, and this is what I'm going to be doing, is I'm setting several reminders. I'm using my Alexa to set a reminder, and I'm also going into my calendar and setting an appointment with myself to remind myself that at 8 a.m. I need to set up my Facebook fundraiser, make my donation so that it gets matched, and invite all of my friends, and then make a post on Facebook immediately inviting all of my friends and telling them that there's a matching opportunity if they donate quickly from Facebook. So those are some really important tips. Remember that 8 a.m. and please do it now. Go in and make an appointment. Write down a note that you need to set a reminder for yourself to do Facebook at 8 a.m. on Giving Tuesday, November 27th. The other thing is don't set a short fundraiser. Don't make it a week long. Set it so that it's running from Giving Tuesday, or even before Giving Tuesday, all the way through January 3rd. About maybe more than half of the money that we raise during the holiday season comes after Giving Tuesday. So it's certainly a big chunk on Giving Tuesday, but giving people the opportunity to continue donating through the end of the year is really important. Invite everyone in your network. This is a critical thing. It's a very soft ask. So when you invite people, it's basically putting a notification into their timeline that you are doing a fundraiser. They can either choose to take action on it and donate, or they can ignore it, or they may not even see it. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, the need to be persistent. So anyway, another big announcement is that all fundraising dollars raised on Giving Tuesday, the MSA Coalition is pledging to put it directly into our MSA Research Fund. And not only is it the money that you donate and raise, but it's the matching money from PayPal, and we also have some of our own internal matching pledges as well, and prize money on the next fundraiser that I'm going to be talking about that can all go into the research fund on Giving Tuesday. So it's a huge opportunity to give MSA Research a huge boost. When and where and when to fundraise continued. So we've already talked about ProudRise. They're doing their holiday challenge again this year. It begins on November 27th and it runs through January 2nd, 2019. So if you set up, when you set up your fundraiser, it will be set up for that time period. They have $300,000 in prize money this year. It's split between grand prize money at the end for the charities that raise the most money, as well as several bonus prizes on a bi-weekly basis throughout that 6-week period. The MSA Coalition, as I mentioned, has won $25,000 to $35,000 each of the past few years, finishing in the top 3 to 5 and beating out over 1,000 charities each of those years to win that money. And also funds donated on Giving Tuesday, they're going to research, as I'd mentioned. And the other thing that I started to address is that as of right now, we have over $50,000 in matching pledges from people, large donors inside of the MSA community that have pledged if we raise $50,000, they will match it. So potentially you could have, if you do this on Facebook early at 8 a.m., you could have your donation, whatever size it is, matched not only by Facebook, but also by our internal pledges, which triples the value. And if you have an employer that matches, you can also submit there and potentially quadruple your donation. It's an incredible way to support the MSA Coalition and our cause. So let's go real quick. I just want to show you our new Multiple System Atrophy Coalition website. We officially launched it this morning, actually. So it's a replacement of our older site. It still has the same address at multiplesystematrophy.org. You can also go to msacoalition.org and it takes you to this to multiplesystematrophy.org. So here's our banner, and you can see right on the home page, directly below the banner is our Holiday Hope for MSA, Start Your Fundraiser Today, and we have buttons that go both to Facebook and to ProudRise. So I'll click on those real quick, just to show you real quick what they look like. So now we're in the Facebook page, and when you click on that link, it takes you right to the setup. You can literally get through this setup in 5 to 10 minutes. A couple quick things: set your goal. And then also here's, right now, the default is that it would end on December 4th. I think it's like a 2 weeks long. Change that to January 2nd or 3rd so that you can continue to raise money throughout the holiday period. So I'm not going to do anything else with that right now. I want to show you ProudRise real quickly. As it opens up on your right across from our video, you can see join the team. So if you click on join the team, that takes you to that page where you can, if you already have a ProudRise, you sign in or you can sign up. And it's for both Facebook and ProudRise. I promise it is a 5 to 10 minute commitment, and you will be all set up to be an effective fundraiser for the MSA Coalition. So I will close out of those and go back to our PowerPoint. Scroll to the next slide. We're almost done here. Normally this slide would say share, 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 but because we've invited, we're using Facebook as a fundraiser, I decided to include invite, share, share. With Facebook, inviting your entire network to your fundraiser, as we've discussed, is incredibly important. It's very easy and it's a very soft sell. So I highly encourage, if you want to have a successful fundraiser, be unabashed and just go in and invite. Your network won't think twice about it. I probably receive 15 to 20 fundraisers from my friends over the year, and I'm assuming over the holidays I'm going to get a lot more. And I can either choose to donate if I like their charity, if I like them, and your network will have the same option. Share your and then create your ProudRise URL. And by the way, we're encouraging you to set up both, especially if you have a Facebook network. Definitely do the Facebook fundraiser, but also do the ProudRise, because not all of your network is in Facebook. I have lots of friends that don't do Facebook. So I'm going to set up a ProudRise fundraiser as well, and then I'm going to email that one to all of my friends and post it on some of my social networks that aren't Facebook. Facebook, I'm just going to concentrate on the Facebook fundraiser, and then share it to your whole network. So just to give you some thought processes here, your network includes your family and friends, which I think are pretty obvious, but also former classmates, whether it's from high school, college, graduate school, other places, also your colleagues from work, and then clubs, churches, and social groups that you may be a member of are excellent sources of contacts that are going to be people that are really going to want to help you, especially if they know your MSA story. So one last point in this invite and share message is that with both ProudRise and Facebook, your network will have the opportunity to help you share your fundraiser. They can invite people to your, through Facebook, they can invite people to your fundraiser once they've donated, and Facebook gives them the option of sharing that they've made a donation, so encourage them to do so, and encourage them to share your ProudRise URL as well. As a team, we can get a lot done. A few fundraising tips: be passionate and unafraid of fundraising. Remember, you're doing it for a great cause, and not only are you going to impact and feel good about doing it, but you can impact future generations of people who hopefully someday will never be impacted by multiple system atrophy because of the work that we're doing. Be the first person to donate to your fundraiser. This is really important. If you go to a fundraising page and the person who started it hasn't donated yet, it's gonna bring questions in. It doesn't need to be a lot of money. Donate $5 or $10. Just be the first one. Show people that you care enough about it to donate to your own cause. It's really important. So as soon as you set up your fundraisers, make a donation, then send it out to your network. Set a realistic fundraising goal. As I mentioned, 2,300 is what we average in ProudRise, but 1,000, 1,500, or even less, 500, 250, depending on your network, would be greatly appreciated, and I think make everybody really happy if you could do that for the MSA Coalition. Be persistent with your ask. Again, this is really important. It's a busy time of the year with the holidays. People have holiday parties, all kinds of stuff going on. So don't assume when you send out an email or an invitation on Facebook that everybody's going to see it. In fact, I'd probably assume the opposite, that very few people are going to see it. And even if they do see it, they may think to themselves, you know what, I'm really busy right now, but I'll come back and do that because I really want to support this guy or this gal. So send out more than one invitation. You can do it every week. Be persistent. People appreciate being reminded, especially if they do want to help you. And don't fundraise alone. Really important. It's important to do it as a team. And the fundraising tools, both in Facebook and ProudRise, make it easy for your family members to join your effort, to join your team, and to help in the help with getting your fundraiser out to your entire family's network. It can be a powerful tool. It can be uniting. You guys could even do a contest over if you have 4 or 5 siblings that are supporting a parent with multiple system atrophy, have a contest with a little prize at the end for whoever raises the most money for the charity. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for listening to this presentation. As I said, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make 2 more videos. They should be much shorter than this, quickly demonstrating how to set up each fundraiser. They'll be on those pages directly, no slide decks. And keep in mind that myself and Pam Bauer, we're both on the fundraising committee at the MSA Coalition. We've been doing this for a long time together. We're here to help you out. We've even helped people set up fundraisers on ProudRise. We've set them up for them, in fact, and even on Facebook. If you trust us, which I believe we're extremely trustworthy people, we can go in and set up your Facebook fundraiser and take care of it for you. And you can also call the number here, leave a message for either Pam and I. We'll call you back on our cell phones, and you'll be connected to us via our cell phone numbers as well. So don't hesitate to ask. I hope that you take the leap and become a fundraiser for the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition, and that you become an important member in the team to find a cure for multiple system atrophy. Thank you very much. I wish everybody a very enjoyable and great holiday season with your family, starting with Thanksgiving. Thank you.